So we are going to welcome Miss Emma Simmons, and I'll let her take it away.
Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Let me go ahead and share my PowerPoint with everyone. All right. Can everyone see the PowerPoint?
Yep, you are good to go, Miss Emma.
Perfect. All right. So for today's transit tidbits, I just wanted to touch a little bit on digital accessibility. So this is now a requirement that any content that is posted to our webpage, the Iowa DOT specifically in this scenario, it must meet digital accessibility standards. So, and before I kind of get into everything, I want to also note that originally the content on the DOT's website needed to be accessible by April 24th, 2026. However, the Department of Justice did extend that until April 26th of 2027. So we still now have an additional year to make sure that everything is up to accessibility standards. That does not mean that the documents that we post don't need to be accessibility verified. We still want them to be and make sure it's basically this extra time is giving us some additional time to make it right and make sure that the documents that we're putting out there are really good in terms of accessibility. All right, so what is digital accessibility and its purpose? So what is it? It makes websites and tools easy for people with disabilities to use. Why do we have this? Online documents can be hard to navigate with screen readers and hard to find with search engines. Who is this beneficial to? Well, it's beneficial for all users, especially for those with accessibility needs. And then the main part of today's demo is how do we make things digitally accessible? So when creating accessible content, here are some key tips. Make sure to type out abbreviations. For example, don't use e.g. use the word example. It's easier for a screen reader and the person using a screen reader to understand. Use bolded text instead of double or single quotation marks. Don't use all caps for titles or content. Use built-in editor tools for bulleted or numbered lists. This helps when you go through and do excuse me, and do the accessibility check in Word or PDF. Don't use M dashes, so instead of 5-7, write 527, and make the text of a link a clear description of where the user is being taken. So those are just some key things to keep in mind. And then another one of the most important things is for when people are checking if it's accessibility verified, you have to go in and make sure it's tagged that way. So this shows how to tag a document as accessibility verified in Microsoft Word. So I'll demo this on an actual document, but you would open the file menu, navigate to the info, add metadata, such as title, tags, author, and then you would choose save as Adobe PDF format if you were converting it into a PDF. So the screenshot shows that in the tag section of the properties of this document, it has been marked as accessibility verified. And that's important to note. And when you do this in Word, it will transfer over when you download it into PDF as well. So you wouldn't need to necessarily go back and retag it in PDF, but had you not done that in Word, you would need to tag it in Adobe Acrobat. So for this, you would open the document properties, edit the description, such as title, author, and keywords, and check the advanced settings. When you check the advanced settings, that checks for the language and the reading, like left to right as well. So as you can see here, this one has also been marked as accessibility verified. All right, so then I just wanted to, before we get into the demo, just give you some links to online resources that 3 of them are from the state of Iowa, and they are great resources to utilize. You can come back to this training, but these go more in depth into specific case scenarios. So let's go to the accessibility and inclusivity. All right. Are you able to see the website?
Yes, it looks good, Emma.
Okay, awesome. So on this page, it just has a more in-depth of kind of that key tips that I was going into earlier. So creating accessible content, and then looking at how to use headings, how to caption videos, how to provide useful alternative text, create document titles, and then it also goes into why this is important, some standards, and a bunch of other really good resources for you to have when you're creating documents. Another one is fixing common PDF and accessibility errors. So this one provides YouTube videos on common accessibility errors that you might see. So this one has some PowerPoint tips. We have PDF documents, tables, cells, and then tagged PDFs, tagged content. So this one is really good if you're more of a visual learner. It'll go through specific scenarios. Um, Another one, if this is just good to have on your end, because in case you're posting things to social media for your agency, this is good to keep in mind and how to make your social media accessible. So just a good tool to have and to keep in mind when you're making social media posts. And lastly, this one is just about alternative text best practices. So it's really good to have good alternative text. And it kind of shows different examples for photos, icons, illustrations, diagrams. So this is just a really good one to kind of look at so you can kind of know what good alternative text looks like. I've also found that AI, so like Copilot on Microsoft is really good to use for alternative text if you don't know where to start. You can kind of type in maybe if it's the image and say create accessible alternative text for this image, and then you can go through and it'll create a little blurb of alternative text and you can kind of take out what you need, or if there's anything that's incorrect, take that out. But it's a really good quick way to create alternative text if you're kind of stuck on what to put. All right, so now I'm going to go into my demonstration. So I will exit out of PowerPoint. And we are going to start with a Word document. So I am going to show you a public hearing notice because I know a lot of you send these to us to post on our private sector notification clearinghouse. So I've just created a mock-up public hearing notice in Word. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you what's a good practice. So first off, this isn't marked as a heading. And I think a really good way to start is to create a heading. So you can kind of go into Word and create a heading. So then it marks it as a heading. And when the screen reader is looking through it, it shows that there's a heading and paragraph and not just like one big lump of text. The next thing is to go into the info for this document. So you're going to go over to File, and then you are going to scroll down to Info on the left-hand side. It's below Get Add-ins. So when you look at the info to the right, there is Document Properties. I can zoom in, I can't. And you can see that there's no title and no tags currently for this. So what we're going to do is if you can add a title, so we're going to add public hearing notice. And then for tags, we're going to put accessibility verified, public hearing, transit. And then we are good to go with the title and tags. I want to note that when you do the accessibility checker, it doesn't check to see if you have input this information. So this is just something that you need to remember to do in your document. In Adobe, it does tell you that you would need to check for a title and all of that, but in Word, it does not. So now that we have input all of this information, we are going to inspect our document. So we're going to first check for issues, which has, and you go down to the middle one, it's check accessibility. So let's go ahead and check accessibility. And it shows us that there have been no accessibility issues found. So people with disabilities should not have difficulty reading this document. All right, so that is good. And now if we were to go and export this as a PDF, I'm going to go ahead and do that and kind of show you what it looks like in PDF. So I'll save as Adobe PDF. Yes, save. Alrighty. So I'm gonna save this as public hearing one. All right, well, we're waiting for that one. I have another sample document up. So this isn't the one that has the information that we just put in. This would be, had you not put that information, like the tags or title, into Word and exported it, this was what you would have to do in PDF. So with our PDF, we are first going to start off with going to File, Properties, and then you can see that I'm the author of this, so that's good to have. Always have the author in there. And then the title would be Public Hearing Notice. And our keywords would be accessibility verified, public hearing, in transit. All right. And then before I was talking about looking at the advanced settings, so sometimes you might get an error that it doesn't have a language set. So you can set the language to English and then the binding from the left edge. So that's in the advanced setting of the document properties. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep on this one now, I guess. So to check the accessibility on this one, you will go ahead and in PDF, there is a little accessibility logo, and it's a purple guy with a circle. So if you click on that, you can go ahead and do the accessibility check. So that would be this little check mark right here. And then make sure all of the checking options are included, so 32 of 32 in all categories. So it's looking for all of these different things in your document. So you will go ahead and start checking. And as you can see here on the left-hand side, we have a couple of issues. So we have document issues. So logical reading order is something that we need to check. The title was failed. Remember, we put the title in the document properties. This is a manual check. So if we were to fix this, and then we were to hit save, you can see that the title up above shows now public hearing notice, which is what I titled the document. And I had it saved as sample document for this demo. So that's just what that title does, is it changes it into the header. So the color contrast, we're good with the color contrast in this document, but this would be something where you would use they have color contrast checkers just to make sure that it's readable. So we can go ahead and you can manually pass this. So that's what I'm going to do here. For the reading order, we're going to go ahead and on the right-hand column, there's at the very bottom reading order. So if you click on that, now it's showing you what the reading order looks like. So remember, this isn't the one that we created the heading for. So it's having everything as one paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the page structure. And then I am going to select public hearing notice and put that as heading 1. And then you can go ahead and do this as paragraph. And I'm actually, because this doesn't have any dividers, I'm going to keep that as all one. So we'll do text paragraph. All right, so then that shows that our reading order, you can show so right now it's showing the structure type, so heading and paragraph. Well, there's another little button if you want to see content order. So this is read first, this is read second. So we are good on reading order now. So we will go ahead and mark that as manually checked. So pass. All right, so that was for just the document issues. Now we have page content issues. So we have some tagged content that's failed, which is this logo that I included, and then some character encoding failed. So this one is a little, for the tagged content, really what you can do and what you should do is there's auto tag documents. So go ahead and auto tag. And then once you auto tag and you go through again and run that accessibility checker, loading, sorry, my loading is a little off. So let's go, just show this in content. Okay. Okay. Sorry. All right, so now it shows that the tagged content is good and it has passed once you do the auto tag of the document. As you can see, we still have an alt text issue. So this alternative text has failed. We don't have alt text for this. So what we're going to do is in the right hand, there's set alternative text. So it's going to detect the figure, this one figure, and we're going to set that as Iowa DOT logo. We're going to save that. And then it also shows that we have appropriate nesting is failed for our heading that we created. So if you go this little tag section at the bottom kind of shows you where this issue might be, and it would be here. So it's marked as heading 3, and it shouldn't be heading 3, it should be heading 1. So what we're going to do is go to the properties and then change it to heading level or just heading. So once we change that to heading, that should be good to go. Sometimes it's trial and error, but we'll go ahead and run our accessibility check again. And then you can see that now it has passed because we changed that heading from a level 3, which wasn't an appropriate tag, to just a heading. We have our alt text that has passed. So this document is now good to go. Then I want to show you that one that we did in Word. It is now loaded. So if we were to go into the document properties on this document, it would show that it shows that it has been accessibility verified, public hearing, transit. The title is in there as well. So because we input all of this information already into Word and then exported it, it's already there for us, so we don't need to add it in. And then if we run the accessibility checker on this one, we'll go ahead and start checking. So the only issues we have is the logical reading order. So if we were to check our reading order again, you can see heading and paragraph. So that is good. So we can manually check that one as good to go. Pass that. Our title, we have the title, so now we just need to fix it. And once we fix it and save, it'll change that to from public hearing 1 to public hearing notice in the tab. And then our color contrast is good, so we can go ahead and pass. And then once we save, everything should be good to go. So that's just about all I had for today. It's very a basic example, but like I said, there's those really good resources for you to use. And I will go ahead and share my contact information. Um, that's all I had for you today. As I um, said, if you would like to post anything to our DOT public facing website, we do need it to be accessibility checked. I am willing to help out, and if I get it, it's very can be very confusing. So just give me a call, shoot me an email if you're having struggles. But I'd love for people to kind of familiarize themselves with this because I think it's a really important tool to have, and just good for the everyday user of the DOT's website and even your own website. So that's all I have for you today. And I'd like to open it up for any questions.
Thank you, Emma. We appreciate that. I know a lot of people working along with accessibility. I know we at the DOT kind of got thrown in this too, and Emma's had to learn a lot and go through everything, and she has taught us all a lot about making sure all of our documents are accessible. It does look a little daunting, but as Emma said, if you can figure out behind the scenes how to do it and get it to us, it just makes it a lot easier. And as she said, she is more than willing to help out and answer any questions. Which one of the questions I would have for you, Emma, when you were putting in the keywords, I did notice that you had to do, you started it off with quotes and then commas in between. Are those quotes required, or will it fail you if you forget to add the quotes at the beginning and the very
No,
end of the
they won't
keywords?
fail you. That's just kind of how I learned. So as you saw in the Word document, I didn't put any of that in, but and then when it got saved into the PDF, I will show you, it showed quotes. And then so then when I put it into PDF, I put quotes in it because that's
Okay,
how it transfers over usually. So that's just standard practice for me, but it won't. Same with the author. It's not a big deal if you have your first name, last name, or you don't have quotes around it. It's not um, required as long as you have the information in there. That's what's most important.
perfect. Thank you, Emma. All right, does anyone else have any questions that Emma could ask you or help you out with? All right, well, I am not seeing anything. As noted with all of our transit tidbits, this has been recorded. So once we get done, we'll save the recording, and then I, of course, will send it to Miss Emma to make sure it is accessible to put onto our website later for everyone to view, share with your fellow teammates within the transit agency. As she had showed you before, this is what we're doing at the DOT, and it would be a very helpful as you're going through and, maybe revamping your own website for each transit agency and adding things in to make sure you kind of follow these same rules to make sure it's accessible to all of our transit riders in case they have questions and stuff too, that they'll be able to read everything on their, phone. Everyone uses their phone nowadays to pull information up. So it's a good habit to have for everyone. So we appreciate everyone for attending today's Transit Tidbits and appreciate Emma presenting for us today. And you all have a lovely rest of the week.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.